Welcome to the 50 Shades of Greatness Lounge. You can see the story of our shirts in our previous episode.
Yeah, so the next few episodes are all recorded tonight, different segments. So don't think we wear these shirts all week.
Different segments, all fantastic shirt.
Different segments, same shirt, same night. We don't wear these shirts every day of the week.
Only Friday nights,
Just wanted to repeat that.
but it is Wednesday.
It is.
No, it's Tuesday.
No, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Very bad. And we're wearing the shirt. Okay, so let's get into it. So the COVID restrictions are lifting. We have good news in the province of Alberta, way off our previous record-breaking numbers of over 2,500 a day. We're now down to, last that we checked, 127 for Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. So that is great news.
How many? What was that number again?
127 as of today. And we want to take things in context too, because there's new concern about the Delta variant,
Yes.
right? Which is just a new name for the India variant, right? That's fine. So we should take that in context. I think as one of the medical chief commissioners was saying, I think it's Corriveau. Anyways, and I agree with that. I didn't read that Corriveau statement, but just the idea of taking it into context makes sense to me because, listen, we've got about 70% of people that have a single dose. I would assume that with the lotteries being offered, I want your opinion on the Alberta lotteries, but with the lotteries being offered, I would think that we should get 70% uptake of second dosage at the minimum. So I would think that it's time to relax a little bit in your lives and just kind of enjoy the newfound situation. And the one thing that I wanted to bring up that was kind of bugging me was watching people walking around outside with masks on.
That is something that irks me somewhat as well. It's just that, hey, you're in the open air, enjoying yourselves, having a good time. And I just think that the brainwashing component of the thing with the masks, you got to watch that mental situation with it. Like, why do you have it on? Why are you covering your face? Do you feel that's completely necessary? And so I'm all about freedom, right? And of course, being safe. Got to be safe first and foremost. Everything you must. Safety is paramount. When you're out in the open air, it seems to me, with my sensibilities, that your risk would be reduced. Again, we are not doctors.
No, we're not doctors, but it's pretty obvious. You don't need to be a doctor to read clear information. And that information about catching COVID outside is very difficult. The chances are basically minimal. Even before people were vaccinated, the science was clear that getting COVID outside, difficult proposition. At best, just the virus doesn't like the outside.
So here's my worst case scenario that I see that I don't like is that when I see people who are clearly from a same household, a family, and then the adults particularly are wearing masks in front of their young children, and I'm saying, what are we teaching these kids? Right? What are we teaching these kids?
That's a good point.
And so the risk, if you're in your house together, and of course I don't know exactly what's going on within the household. Maybe there's some elderly people there, but I don't know. You're not outside with the elderly people, but I'm not seeing them. Right. But I see young families walking around with their children with masks on, and that, for me personally, concerns me in regards to the effect of the mentality of kids.
Well, I think, you're right. That's a good point, the mentality of the kids, but it's also just mentality in general, because we can't just put away critical thinking. Again, if you're one of those people that believes in the science, then presumably you got vaccinated. But therefore, if you got vaccinated, you should continue to follow the science and realize that walking around outside doesn't present a risk to you. It just doesn't. Even before the vaccines were prevalent, getting COVID outside was a difficult proposition. And now that people, the vast majority, at least in our realm of the woods.
Where are we at now? 70?
Basically 70% single dose. And I think somewhere between 5 and 10% for second dose, uptake. So, but regardless of that, is that you're outside, and I've seen it. It's been a common occurrence for me. I've seen people walking around by themselves.
That's
okay. I don't know what scientific.
Who are you protecting yourself from?
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're walking around outside by yourself with a mask on. I'm assuming it's to prevent catching COVID, unless you have some other issue in your life. But we can safely assume it's to prevent COVID, right?
Well, and
Why are you doing that?
Yeah, all aspiring for freedom is the idea. Freedom.
Well, just normal behavior.
Yes, true. And that's the thing that we've been experiencing throughout these last year and a half is absolute abnormal behavior. Not what we're supposed to be doing as humans.
Okay, so gyms are reopened, and that's been a godsend for me because I like to go and exercise, and I felt like I was really out of shape there for a while. I'm sure I wasn't the only one, and it's nice to get back to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are wearing their masks the entire time that they're working out, even though the rules state that, hey, you don't have to wear your mask when you're in the midst of your workout.
Right.
No, I'm not going to go around with a sour look on my face, upset that people are wearing their masks while they're indoors. It's a different situation when you're indoors to outdoors. I get that. But the gym is limited in capacity. People are still socially distancing in the gym. And again, I think it's safe to assume that if you're working out, then you're conscious of your health. If you're conscious of your health, I would assume that you're probably vaccinated in Canada and Alberta. That's a safe assumption.
Probably generally not as susceptible.
Generally speaking, you're
as well
probably going to get vaccinated. I mean, you could be conscious of your health and not get vaccinated. True. I'm not discounting that, of course, but I think it's safe to assume that since 70% of people in the general population are vaccinated, I think it's safe to assume that 70% of the people in the gym are probably vaccinated. If not, there might be a slight
that's true. That makes sense.
That's a reasonable assumption.
Right.
So if 7 out of 10 people that are working out around you have at least a dose, if you know whether you've had a dose or not, I've had my single dose. I'm not getting my second dose.
Second June 29th for me.
So you have less risk because you have a sheet of armor on you, right?
Yep.
And 7 out of 10 people around you have a sheet of armor, have that same sheet of armor around them. So remember that when you have a vaccine, is that you're less likely to shed viral particles, and you're less likely to be infected by those viral particles. So it's working in 2 different ways, right? So you're kind of wearing a biological mask by getting vaccinated. That's the whole point. So I'm not sure why people are insisting on wearing their mask the entire time they're working out. I think we have to get to a point where we just say, listen, let's just live our lives. The vast majority of are going to get vaccinated. And those who don't give them a hard time. If you don't want to get vaccinated, leave them be.
Right.
Leave them to their own devices.
Well, the percentages will work out themselves, particularly when the vast majority are vaccinated.
Yeah.
And if those individuals,
you can't force people to take the vaccine. It's too invasive a thing.
Right.
Right. So why get upset if you believe in the science and you're vaccinated up? Then what are you worried about if the person next to you isn't?
Well, and the impact of wearing masks. What do you think?
You mean
the impact of wearing them just generally? Yeah. So wearing the mask, I mean, for myself, it feels like we're in some sort of a brainwashing scheme, which, listen, again, safety first, safety. But I'll tell you what drives me nuts is when I walk out of a place, store, shopping mart or what have you, and I forget to take off my mask, and I'm walking outside and I forget to take it off. And I'm like, what am I doing?
Well, that's okay. You're just walking to your car.
No, but it's a sense of normalcy that one should not feel.
Oh, I see what you're saying is that it's become so ingrained. The pattern has been ingrained that perhaps we should be more conscious of taking the damn mask off.
That's right.
When appropriate.
As soon as possible.
Yeah. As soon as it's possible. As soon as it's appropriately possible.
As soon as it's safe.
Rip the mask off because, again, we're not doctors. We're just saying as soon as it's appropriate and possible, I'm not going to wear I'm wearing it. I'm minimizing my mask wearing.
Right.
If I'm around an old person or around 100%. People and I'm indoors, I'm following the rules. I'm putting on my mask. I don't need to piss anybody off unnecessarily. But if I don't need to wear my mask, then I'm not.
Well, there's been times when I've been playing with my young son at a park. There's been an older person with maybe a grandchild or what have you, and they are wearing their masks. And so my son will want to play with that child. I say, son, let's put on the mask. I put one on, he does, so we can respect what their wishes are at that point in time, even though we're out in an open air park.
Yeah. So again, into the back of your mind, that's feeling a little silly, but you're just being accommodating of other people.
100%.
And that's okay. Right. We have to be accommodating of people in this life. And it's not really hurting you.
No. No, absolutely not.
So
To
it's
put them in comfort, the kids are having fun. That's the main goal, and to appreciate what others people's feelings are in this strange day.
Yeah, and the strain, which again, it's lifting. This is, we should feel
Yes.
a general sense of relief. And as these restrictions lift, I hope that people are taking appropriate steps to live their normal lives. And you know what's funny? All right. So just to lighten the mood
Okay.
even more, with less serious note, I find
Yeah,
that a
sure.
lot of friends, yeah, these Batman shirts, a lot of friends of mine are really getting excited about hitting it, getting outside, going on a trip, partying. People want to party. There's supposed to be a slutty summer of love in Vegas, or
geez,
yeah, or
nice,
something.
nice.
So I don't know
All
what
right.
I think.
Let
Bill
it
Maher mentioned something about a slutty summer
That's
of
what
love.
he says.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Billy.
So people are they're jacked up. I'll go out and hang out with everybody and have fun, but I gotta say that I'm one of the lucky ones. COVID did not affect me mentally at all.
Oof.
At all. So for me, the step of going out and living my normal life, yeah, that's appropriate. But I'm not like itchy. Like when we've been talking, you're like, yeah, you're not really.
It has beat my ass. I need to get out. I need to see people. I go to the grocery store. I want to see faces. I just want to see faces. I want to see humanity, right? It drives me nuts where I can't just nod at a person and see their whole face. So for me, it's been rough. I have not liked it whatsoever. It's driven me batshit crazy.
I find that people are much better looking from the eyes up. So for me,
It's been horrible. I've hated it. Hated it. So I'm looking forward to ripping these masks off and seeing the face and smiles of everyone walking around. Particularly, like I say, when I'm in a shopping mart buying groceries, I like to see general humanity. I realize that now. I didn't realize that before. I've missed it.
Well, I like what you're saying, but there is an element of irony to your statement.
So
one of your favorite superheroes is, and he wears
he's a little antisocial.
He wears a mask, my friend.
He does.
And he is somewhat antisocial.
But guess what? It doesn't cover his nose nor mouth. All the rest of them, it's not COVID safe.
I'm sure Batman has some sort of excellent bat filter.
Anyway, digress.
So, anyways, yeah, we're digressing, but we're just having we just want to lighten the COVID talk a bit, because I think we should feel a little bit lighter about it.
We should. I think so. I think it's appropriate to feel lighter now that things are becoming, the restrictions are lifting.
Yeah. And there's, in that celebration of things lifting, I do have in the back of my mind a sobering thought of the thousands of people in Alberta, across Canada, and who lost their lives.
It's horrible. It is. Yes.
So I'm not just going to be like, oh, it's all happy, because there's a lot of people that suffered terribly from this. And then there's people who didn't lose anybody, but who were suffering from long COVID, or a family member is suffering from long COVID effects. And that's some serious shit.
It absolutely is. I've got a client who's suffering from some long haul syndromes, who says he's constantly feeling heaviness in his forehead. And he's a young, healthy male who's works out all the time. And he's just still to this day, he had it in March and still feeling that heaviness in his forehead, he says. He can't shake.
And anybody who's been an athlete or been injured long-term, right? We've all been there, any of us who've competed, or just in general, right? We've all had a long-term illness or injury. So just remember how that felt, and keep a sympathetic and empathetic ear out, for people who are suffering from long COVID, because that shit is real.
Well, do you know what? This actually, even without suffering, it does feel like a long injury. I had my knee done a number of years ago, and this feels like, because you're restricted from doing things. You're even, no matter how good you feel, you still have got to wait a certain amount of time to be safe in getting back out there. And that's what this actually feels like. It feels like you're just held back. You can't go out and do the things that you want to do.
Okay.
And so that's a good analogy.
Well, I mean, that is a good analogy, because society, of course, has been hampered, has been injured.
That's right.
Has been held back.
Yes.
So again, a moment of levity, but I'm just keeping a sobering thought in the back of my head for all those people who have lost their lives, their loved ones, and people who are suffering from
still feeling it.
That's terrible shit. And I hope that they all get well soon. And if you lost somebody, I hope you're dealing with it the best way you can.
Godspeed, God bless, no doubt.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, remember, keep your stick on the ice.
Your balls in the air.
Peace out. We love you.